So we're here to talk about multi-platform, and to bring that to life for you, we're going to show you a quote that we heard 18 months ago when we were pitching, after Series 1, which was a runaway success, we were pitching our thoughts around this to a very senior drama commissioning bod. And the exact quote was, "I don't care about all that stuff around the edges, interactive multi-platform crap, that's all just sizzle, show me the steak, where's the drama?" And we've never forgotten it, and it's the sizzle quote, and it stays in our lives a lot. And even though at the time it took us aback, and we were a little bit sad. It's actually taught us many a lesson, and it's, it just shows the misunderstanding that there is around us, and hopefully we're going to show you that that's not the case at all. When Luke writes multi-platform drama, he writes all the platforms. There's a very complex way of achieving it. It's not just the sizzle on the sides. Very briefly, because we are quite an interesting, well, we're very interesting, we're an unusual group. Luke is the writer and director of Dubplate Drama, the showrunner of Kate Modern, a champion of urban music videos and a graduate of YC Television. Me and Michelle, who's in the audience, are the executive producers, but we also run a social enterprise, which is marketing, but we also run a not-for-profit youth engagement and media training program. So our background is really quite different. And Louis Figgis, who couldn't be here, he's actually in a nuclear bunker for Kate Modern right now, is our producer on the show. So we're going to take you through what makes up Dubplate Drama. There are four aspects to it. Drama, at the heart of it, that's why we're here today. It's social message. The show was interactive, that voting on dilemmas at the end of every episode did determine the story, and that it was, of course, distributed via multi-platform channels. First off, and at the very heart of it, is drama, which I'll ask you to say a little bit, please.
Well, I mean, the series Dubplate Drama kind of came out of me making rave videos and low budget music videos. I met a lot of really interesting characters and heard a lot of stories, and realised that this was a territory that hadn't really been shown in a dramatic way before. And around about this time there was this incredible DIY music explosion where young people all over the country got PlayStations that they could make beats on, they got Fruit Loops for their PC, and so there were so many kids out there who were just making music and thinking that they were going to be the next 50 Cent or next Eminem. So that gave the story a really interesting aspirational core. And then there's the dilemmas, really, which is the next part of it.
Message that we were trying to get across to an audience who we didn't feel were particularly well reflected on television, but to an audience, as was discussed, that television doesn't always connect with, and that's very much what led us to be in a multi-platform place. But also because we believe there's a real meaning in drama, and there's a way of making a difference. Do you want to say a bit more?
I've always felt that drama, even before I decided to get into television, was the thing that helped influence my kind of moral compass. And the events on shows like Grange Hill or Degrassi Junior High, and the way that they played out events that I later encountered in life really seriously affected the way I dealt with things. And I feel that there's definitely a responsibility to create drama for young people that kind of plays out these events for them, really.
And it is really true how many times Luke will reference Grange Hill when making big decisions in his life. So the way we brought those social messages out, because it is a TV show, and the last thing we wanted to be was patronising or condescending to an audience that we know very, very well. But we were able to talk about a range of issues, and at the end of every episode that was brought together in a dilemma, and the audience were asked to choose which way it should go. It's just four of the dilemmas. Do you want to pick your favourite?
I mean, they're all favourites. It's like choosing children or something, but each of the dilemmas at the end of the episodes were based around getting people to think or talk about different kinds of issues that maybe without the context of talking about them in a third person way they wouldn't normally talk about. So as far as the storytelling went, it was stuff like issues of family loyalty, peer pressure, and then taking those kind of ideas and mixing them with stuff that was relevant to right now in the UK. Like, for instance, we had a dilemma relating to gun crime, another one on street violence, and a few that were to do with the kind of musical themes of the programme. And for us as programme makers, it was a really exciting experience, and also for the viewers, because the voting was cast on MySpace, so we were constantly going onto our MySpace page because you'd be able to see how people were voting, whether it was A or B. And the secret of a good dilemma is that people would be arguing about it, and it would go back and forth like a seesaw for the week until they chose the next episode. The downside, of course, for the production was that we ended up filming a lot of stuff that never actually saw the light of day because it would have confused things terribly. But That was a sacrifice and we had to make, and I'm glad we made that sacrifice. I'm glad we had that burden, because I don't think we'd be here talking to you now if we had done it the conventional way and not had the dilemmas.
And this is where my platform for us really came into its own, because you're only talking about a 22-minute episode, and there's quite big issues that we're trying to talk about. So it was using the additional channels to really expand and explore all those areas. Any text into the show resulted in a child line bounce back number coming straight to your phone, and also a free bit of content that expanded upon that dilemma.